morning, church family.
Hello, Jeff and Catherine.
Let's talk about tithing.
Okay, so tithing. So we're really excited to be here and to be able to talk about tithing and really build on the incredible message that Penny and Robin delivered last week. And tithing's always been an important part of our life, but it's changed over the years, going back to when we were young.
Yeah, my parents, I watched them every weekly putting in something in the plate, and it was something I thought was just done. And they even taught me to put into like the little boxes for the children twice a year, and did that. But I didn't have any real idea about what I was doing.
Yeah, I was the same. It was kind of a church activity, something you did during church, but we really didn't, until later, understand the full impact of what it meant to actually, plan and make this commitment to God. And I think that's the key, is when it turned into something more than just putting money in the plate, but became that commitment.
The obligation then became a respect and honor for what God was doing in our lives.
And then the real impact to us has been in the blessings that we've received many times over, and just in so many different ways that we don't expect, and seeing how God works through the tithing to provide for people and our church community and our faith community who are in all different stages of their life, and just to see the miracles. We've been blessed by the church ever since we joined. We joined when our boys were very young, and it actually was, the draw of the youth programs and the choir and all of the great things for the kids. But
it was also at that time that Jeff was being deployed. So every year for 14 years, for 1 month to 3 months at a time, he would be deployed. And Church of the Epiphany supported us through that, and it was good and healing to have that. We did a couple of really great projects. That the one that comes to mind is the Afghan children, where we sent all of the coats and the shoes.
Still remember to this day, handing out, it was over 40 boxes, and it was in the dead of winter in February, snow coming down, and kids were walking up, and some of them in bare sandals, and it was amazing. And that whole project turned around in a matter of weeks from putting the request out. And so that was amazing. That was just an outpouring that really meant a lot to me. And just having the church while I was deployed, knowing that so many people were looking out and being a watchful eye for Catherine and the boys. The ministries are just such a huge blessing for the church and for all of us. And my gosh, whether it was that Wings ministry or certainly the prayer ministry, actually one of the earliest ones we enjoyed was the marriage ministry, fireproofing your marriage. And as still fairly new parents, there were some members that we had to put out. And I was not a big fan of going, I don't need marriage ministry, we got this. But my gosh, what a wonderful program that was. And we remember to this day, 20 some years later.
But also VBS, and really just giving from our hearts and seeing how that just has enlightened the children. So actually, all of these tithes, they go to these kinds of projects. But more so, the part that we want to kind of discuss is that, our hearts changed. When we started experiencing the joys that God was bringing to our community, our hearts changed and softened, and we surrendered to the idea of the importance of tithing, that it wasn't an obligation to put money in the little pot every single week, but it was joyful. It was our joy returning back to God, and just a real gift that we got to do.
And the returning to God was important for me. One of the hardest lessons I learned and saw, and that you all taught me, was as the church was going through the separation from our old building, our old congregation, and this incredibly generous, call went out to satisfy the obligations that we had. I will, tell you straight today, I was a hard no. and I wanted nothing to do with paying that obligation. We had built this church, we were giving it to the enemy, so to speak. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And we didn't. Catherine respected my bad decision. But, now years later, I think about it, I just see that as that's what helped change it for me, that we're giving to God. God knows far better what to do with these resources than we have. So that was a real turning point for me. And it's just great now that we're heading into, a brand new year, and we have built so much in Epiphany in 40 years. Yeah. We're going into our 40th year at Epiphany. And we've got some of the original plank owners, we call them in the Navy, but folks who were here for the whole church planting and startup. So it's just exciting to see what God is doing with these offerings that we surrender to Him and give back to Him. And we're just very thankful.
Yeah, we've done so much, and yet we have so much more to do. Praise be to God.
So we thank you for this opportunity, and again, be anticipatory, be excited about what God is going to do, with the tithes, both for our families, our friends, our church.
Our own hearts.
It's just been an amazing journey for us, and we thank you all for being such a blessing to us for so many years.
Amen.
Amen.